It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Lauren Freemantle with 2NURFM Hunter News. Police are investigating after a young girl received prescription medication whilst trick-or-treating in Lake Macquarie overnight. Police say the 13-year-old girl was given the medication in the Blackwells Park area. Officers have arranged to seize the pills today. At this stage, there are no further reports of pills being received by children last night. Police are encouraging parents in the area to check with their children brought home and call police if they have any concerns. Newcastle Lord Mayor Nuatali Nelms today announced the introduction of a park and ride shuttle service operating from McDonald Jones Stadium at Broadmeadow and travelling to the CBD. The service, to be rolled out on November 6, will see shuttle buses depart the stadium every 15 minutes on weekday mornings. They'll stop at Marketown, the intersection of King and Perkins Streets, Civic and Customs House, with return services from 4:30 in the afternoon. Mayor Nelms says it's the first step in Newcastle's future public transport growth.
This is a good first step in really looking at an integrated transport solution for Newcastle as the city grows and expands. Everyone can see the changes that are happening in Newcastle as we transition from a great regional city to an emerging global city. And with that transition comes the normal traffic congestion, lack of parking in and around the CBD.
Whilst Revitalising Newcastle Director Michael Castle says it's great news for businesses in the CBD.
I think it's a great initiative, 350 parking spaces. It reduces the cost to the commuter, and I think businesses will appreciate just how many more spaces are freed up throughout the day so that customers can still come into the centre of the city and also come in and enjoy those activities that we're putting on as part of Revitalising Newcastle.
Hunter Business Chamber CEO Bob Hawes says while he agrees with Lord Mayor Nuatali Nelms' push for more ferry stops, the feasibility needs to be considered first. The government's draft Regional New South Wales Services and Infrastructure Plan has new ferry stops listed as an area to investigate in the next 10 to 20 years, but there are calls that this is simply too long a wait. Bob Hawes says it should be a priority, but it's also important not to rush the development.
It's always nice to think you can put these things in earlier and they will develop a custom, but I think it's a better balance to have both. That not only that you've got a basis of support there now, but it's also going to be able to build and provide for the future, and that's what we'd be encouraging to make sure that the taxpayers' money is well spent.
The Environment Protection Authority has fined a Hunter construction company with $15,000 after they contracted another company to illegally dump waste. Bus Tricks, the company who dumped the waste, was fined $15,000 as well. The waste came from the Singleton Railway Station construction site and was dumped illegally at a property in Millers Forest. The Williamtown Aerospace Centre has officially opened this morning thanks to a $1.8 million boost from the state government. The Defence Innovation Hub, also called DSA 18, will support the research and development of new technologies for the defence industry. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Scott McDonald, says the Innovation Hub will make the latest technologies available for researchers to develop bigger and better things.
Really important that people have a place to incubate those ideas, if you like, and bounce them off colleagues who work in the industry and just see if they're adaptable and see if the commercialisation is possible. And that can only happen when you're working close together.
An 8-ton Bearcat armoured personal carrier vehicle has arrived in the Hunter, designed to aid tactical police. It will be used to defuse hostile situations, including armed standoffs and raids. Previously based in Sydney, the blast-proof vehicle will now have a permanent presence in the Newcastle region. To finance, the All Ords is up 30 points at 66, and $1 Australian is buying 76.6 US cents.
Sport for our sponsor, PRD Nationwide East Maitland.
Newcastle Jets coach Ernie Merrick believes the Jets will need to put in a better first half performance than last week if they're to threaten Wellington. Merrick says the side started last week's game in a defensive mindset.
We camped in our back third for the first 25 minutes. We didn't get out of the half very often. There was very little service to Roy, and our strikers actually started to come back and get the ball, and of course they weren't dangerous after that.
It's the beginning of a new era for the Knights as the West Group officially takes over ownership of the club today. It's also the first day of pre-season training for the squad as they welcome signing Jacob Lilliman. Other signings Connor Watson, Aidan Guerra and Kalen Ponga will join training after World Cup commitments. And Hunter surfing junior Elle Clayton Brown is set to compete in her home event, the Port Stephens Pro. After receiving a wild card into the event, she's drawn the number 2 seed and US Open champion, Sage Eriksson. That's sport. I'm Sarah James.
2NURFM news time is 2:05.